Southern Denver suburbs have a lot to offer, especially if you're looking for the right place that isn't too far from the center of the city, but also not right next to downtown. Might be a little too cramped there. Littleton, Colorado is no exception, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Although it might pique your interest, you need to know about these cons before considering it as a place to live. Let's dive in. One of the first pros of Littleton that makes it stand out is in fact downtown Littleton. This is a beautiful part of the overall suburb located on the northwest corner. There are a ton of shops and restaurants here, so it has a great nightlife scene. You have the View House Bar and Grill, as well as a few other spots for seafood and Mexican. And it's along Highway 85, so if you head south, all along this section of Littleton, there are dozens more shops and restaurants, and several breweries, one being Breckenridge Brewery, which is very well known and extremely popular. So locally, from a food and social perspective, there's quite a bit this town has to offer. And if you want to get into Denver, it's only about a 20-minute drive, so it's not that bad if you're driving. But of course, taking an Uber or a Lyft to a Nuggets game or heading into downtown for a night out, it's not too difficult either, nor necessarily that expensive. And that actually ties into the housing market too. Now, it's well known Colorado has pricier real estate than a large majority of the country. However, for Littleton, the market is quite favorable. The median price for a single family home right now sits around $700,000 compared to Denver's median of $585,000. The median size for Littleton homes is 2,850 square feet, which is almost 1,000 square feet larger than Denver's median. So yes, pricier homes, however, much larger too. So you're technically getting more home for your buck. Plus the rental market is favorable too. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment is $1,200 a month compared to Denver's $1,400 a month. But again, this is a suburb, so there's going to be a large percentage of single-family homes here relative to just apartment complexes. So a 3-bed home rents in Littleton for $2,800 a month versus Denver's $2,950 a month. Of course, discussing the rental market for the country as a whole is a completely different conversation. However, when we're looking for reasonable places that are as affordable as possible, a few $100s a month makes a big difference. Of course, affordability is key when finding the right place to call home. If you've been looking to move to Colorado anywhere along the Front Range, reach out to me. I speak with people like you every week who are thinking about a move out here and are doing as much research as possible before taking the first step. If you have any questions about Littleton or are ready to start the process of moving to Colorado, my information is pinned below. I look forward to hearing from you. But now let's get back to the pros. Now the third pro on our list is Littleton's schools. Littleton is part of the Littleton Public School District, which has been given an A ranking on niche.com and has been ranked the #2 best school district in the Denver area. The #1 spot is held by the Cherry Creek School District, which is right to the east. But as you can see on the map, Littleton boasts several A-ranked schools with an overall graduation rate of 91+% and a large percentage of graduates attending state schools like CU Boulder and Colorado State. So if you're considering suburbs of Denver based on the school systems, it's well worth a look at the statistics of this district. I'll include a link below to some more information. Now to talk about some cons. The first one on our list is that Littleton does have generally older homes. The median age for homes built in this suburb is 1981, with the largest number of properties being built in the 80s, 70s, and even 50s. Of course, the more recent decades have some development too, but the 20s seem to be on track as the smallest decade for home construction. This will tie into another con that I'll mention in a second. But as a result, expect a lot of the properties that you're looking at in Littleton to be on the older side. So if you're interested in a newer suburb, or at least a suburb with a lot newer homes, Littleton might not be the right choice. Or most likely, the newer properties that you find in Littleton will be more expensive than the median price I just listed. Now the next one is specific to the town boundaries themselves, but in Littleton it is more or less a locked suburb on all sides. One of the reasons there's not as many new homes built. There's not as much land anymore. As a result, outdoor recreational opportunities aren't necessarily as good as some others near Denver, specifically those that are farther away on the outskirts on either side. Yes, you have golf opportunities and biking and running trails along the western side of the suburb, and of course every suburb has its share of public parks, Littleton included. But all the big outdoor attractions in Denver are either in different suburbs or in this vicinity farther south. I'm getting a little nitpicky, I'm aware, but in comparison to some some other suburbs in the area that have intentionally utilized its land for both residential, commercial, and recreational use, it just doesn't seem to match up. But generally, being boxed in by other suburbs on all sides, you're more likely than not going to have to drive somewhere else to find an outdoor location. Which, silver lining, isn't necessarily a long commute. You have the Chatfield State Park just to the south, so there is an opportunity to enjoy some wonderful outdoor hiking, biking, and water activities if you have a boat. And then Littleton's close to all of the hiking opportunities on the Front Range to the west, compared to if you were living on the eastern side of Denver, where it's a lot longer of a drive. So Littleton doesn't necessarily deprive its residents of the outdoors. However, it's not as developed and wasn't as intentional as some other towns. So what did you think? Did Littleton pique your interest? It's not the only suburb in the area, so I recommend checking out a few more. But if the topic of suburbs that prioritize the outdoors are high on your list, check out another suburb I've covered that's north of Denver. This one is beautiful. You might even like it more. This is Life on the Front Range. I'll see you there.